Woo! Woo!
Good. I remember this one.
Sounds so good.
Great. Oh, that was dope. I forgot what that one was.
It was
Oh, that
dope, man.
That was really cool.
Oh my Lord.
Oh gosh, we have
Who are
had
those guys? They're
a
good.
good damn time, haven't we?
That makes me happy and sad at the same time.
Memories.
It makes me so sad because we can't do
Momo.
it now.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting my shit together here.
Happy and sad.
Oh boy.
Can't do it.
Beg your pardon? Ladies and gentlemen.
Four
My
sets
guests.
of fish to birds.
Yeah, a quorum. What is that? A quorum or something? Fish to birds. Oh, Roland is here. Hi, Roland.
Hi, Roland.
Hey, dude.
So normally we are 7, but three people are not here. That's good. My math is really good. It's working still. So I mean I have cut and paste who we are and what we do, but we'll talk about it. And gosh, this is Adrienne Duncan with the long hair. And with the female with the short hair, actually, she's the only other one with hair, is Cecily Gardner.
You have hair.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking.
Hello.
A guy with no hair.
He does have hair on his chin.
Well, hair on his chin, Emil Hassan Dyer.
Yes.
And missing in action, babysitting for two groups of family is Mon David. And Tracy Robertson from the East Coast is going to be showing up at some point.
Yay.
He's our newest member. Not really new, but he is our
Most recent.
most recent and youngest.
And youngest.
Although we don't like to admit that in front of Adrian because she was the
Yeah,
youngest
she's the
before he
youngest.
came.
I was the youngest. He knocked me out of my spot.
Usurper. He's a usurper.
Well, I'm the youngest
Usurper.
female. Why don't you say he's the youngest male and I'm the youngest female?
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Speaking of that kind of attitude, we are also missing our diva, which is Ashley. And that would be something Ashley would say.
I'm
Or
doing homage to Ashley with her hair.
Right.
I always think of this. Her doing this. Yeah. I can do that. It's my show. So we're Fish to Birds. We improvise together. We have 7 voices. Usually we're a cappella, but that piece that we just played was an earlier piece from the Blue Whale, and we actually had a different member. That was one of the founding members was Diana Lynn, and then she left, and then I guess we went on for a while, and then we got Tracy Robertson. So
We had a percussionist.
what?
We had Brad Alicious behind us.
We had Brad Alicious, and we also had Stefan Oberhoff
Yes. Wonderful pianist.
on piano.
Yeah.
So they were joining in. That was really fun, and that's a great example of what we do and how we have fun and why we called ourselves Fish to Birds, right?
That's right.
Anybody have something to say about that?
Well, Cecily should explain it.
Yes, I think so.
Okay, Fish to Birds. Well, I should have brought my poster to hang up behind me. The MC Escher print of Sky and Water. So where the fish in the lower part of the etching sort of morph into the opposite image of birds. And it is really kind of what we do. Cathy noticed it one day in rehearsal because I had that on my phone cover, that print, and she said, "Hey, that's kind of what we do." There you go. Thank you. Close up on Adrian. Say something, Adrian.
Well, there's the MC Escher print that we tried to get rights to be able to use, but the estate wouldn't let us. Anyway, I tried.
Yeah, we would have had some really good merch, but
Amazing work, but they said no.
but it's definitely representative. Hi, Gary.
I'm back.
Of what we do.
Uh-oh, I froze. Oh, no.
We are morphers.
What did you say? We are what?
Morphers.
Morphers. We morph.
And I would say, do try this at home. We are trained professionals, but do try this at home. It's really no warnings, no cautionary warnings about not trying this at home.
Wait,
Sure.
Cathy, can you see me?
You are frozen.
Frozen.
I'm frozen. I gotta reboot. I'll be back.
Okay. All right.
Don't forget to let me in. Bye.
Okay.
Back.
Cheryl Bentine is visiting on Facebook as well. Hi, Cheryl.
Living in the cabin.
Cheryl, it would be fun to have you join us sometime.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Please do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that morphing thing, well, we all came together at a Rhiannon workshop at the Blue Whale. So Rhiannon, for those of you who don't know Rhiannon, it's not the pop Rhiannon, it's the jazz Rhiannon, and she lives in Hawaii, and she's a major improviser. And what, probably 9 or 10 years ago or something, right? Was the workshop?
Yeah. She's also one of the founding members of Bobby McFerrin's Voicestra.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And Emil, you had been to.
I've been part of her workshops in Hawaii, I think 2006. And then with All the Way In, which is a year-long workshop that she does where people from around the planet get together and we spend a week together in one location, go back and do the assignments, then we come back for another location, spend a week, and then go back and use all of this in our communities. Then we come back again for the final. And during that time, Rhiannon and the co-pilots are available to help people. So I was a co-pilot the year after I had joined.
Well, I think Allison Wedding was part of that too, right?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, we all met. Rhiannon comes to LA, and we all met, and it was out of a joy of what we had done. But she's very busy and she couldn't come back all the time and this and that. And so we just started doing it on our own.
And I think, wasn't it you two and maybe Ashley too, who said, "Hey, let's get together and do this"?
Yeah.
We met in Culver City because all three of us at the time were Culver City residents. Amy
Yeah.
since absconded to the East Bay. But we met at the Coffee Conservancy, and inspired by bowls of cappuccino, we decided.
I didn't know that part.
Oh, yeah. And they are the bowls. If you've never been there, they serve their coffee in these
Bowls.
cups. Yeah, there's like a bowl. So
in the south of France.
yeah, and we sat and thought, we are all inspired by this same principle that Rhiannon is teaching. Hi, Adrian.
Hi.
And we thought to ourselves, why don't we just start meeting weekly or every other week and see if we can just do this ourselves? And we did that. And we started kind of rotating people in. We got Cathy very early on, and I think Ashley called you, Adrian.
Yes, that's right.
I think that and Diana was in early. Diana was in early, and Juan.
No, Juan was later on.
Oh, okay.
Later on, because he, I remember, joined the fall. Well, he was in one of the workshops though with Rhiannon, with all of us at Blue Whale, and I remember, just being knocked out by him. I knew all of you guys. Well, I didn't know Adrian, but I knew Emil, and of course I knew Cathy, and I knew Ashley. And Diana, I think, was in that workshop as well.
I think so.
Yeah. Amy Nolte was there.
Oh yeah. I have an old picture of it. It's really fun to look at that old picture.
Yeah. So we kind of rotated singers in for a while, and
John Fitzgerald was part of it. We had a.
Oh yeah, right.
What was that?
I forgot John Fitzgerald.
Oh,
We had
yeah.
a percussionist and
Yeah.
We had that bass player guy. I love him. Remember, he came over your house, Cecily. What's his name? The guy who does the concerts in that gorgeous house.
Talking about, I can't remember his name.
Peter Hastings.
Yeah, Peter Hastings.
Oh,
Yeah.
Peter? Oh, yeah, that's
And
right.
we did that awesome house concert at his place, right?
Yeah, with Rhiannon and Jay Clayton.
And Jay Clayton. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was amazing.
That's an incredible space.
He's still, well, before COVID, he was still doing concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we sort of settled in, right, to a regular core. And then at some point, that fall that Mon joined us, that's when I got sick. And I remember we were You guys were so awesome because you would come over every week and we would just sing in my living room. And it was so therapeutic. I talked to Cheryl about this actually. It was incredibly therapeutic. So
Yeah.
not only is it fun and musical and inspiring, just feeling in the room, feeling those vibrations of 6 or 7 voices, just it's like a sound bath,
Yeah. Healing.
sound massage, and
Yeah.
really
A healing. By the way, Adrian, not to cut away from your sensitivity, but it's a terrible segue. But Roland says, wasn't Adrian a rapper from the hood?
Why is he saying that in the past tense? I am and will always be.
in the Laurel Canyon hood.
Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta.
Southern Laurel, South Laurel Canyon.
Exactly. South Laurel.
Is Atlanta the hood considered the hood?
No, but it's Atlanta. It's ATL, the 404.
Atlanta. Hot Atlanta to Laurel Canyon.
Exactly. I do like to rap. That's no lie. I discovered that I have, I like to say something of a talent for it.
She does. Actually, I saved that rap that you sent us. You did a rap, like, I can't remember why you did it, but it was like, maybe you were in Atlanta.
No, you know why that was? I'll tell you exactly why that was. Was it the one where I was wearing like the sunglasses? And okay, so what Ashley did, Ashley recorded, I think we were all out of town for Christmas or something. And so Ashley recorded a beat that she had made, like a beat. Like I almost remember it. And then she asked us all to do something on top of it and send a video, and we all did, and they were hilarious.
Okay, I'm just going to show you guys this because I can.
Oh yeah, this is it. So, you know what? Show away. I think I'd had 2 glasses of wine, just for full disclosure. Oh my God, that was hilarious.
So, I'm sitting down here in Atlanta, GA. I just went out to dinner. I have something to say. Yeah, I had a couple of glasses of wine, but you know, it loosened my lips, and now I'm feeling fine. So I feel like I can rap over this little track that Miss Mar laid down back in LA, where I need to probably be in a couple of days. But right now, I'm hanging out in the dirty South, running my big fat mouth over this nice tight little track. And maybe you think it's a little bit whack, but I don't care. I'm just letting me and my nice hair down here in George Air, right here. Ashley Meyer.
That's one of my final moments.
Pretty funny.
I love that. That is hysterical.
For those of you who don't know Adrian, though, she can do that without the wine. She can still do it.
I can. I can freestyle. But I mean, how cool is that we have a group of friends and colleagues that we can just like do random stuff like that with.
Yeah. And you know, which actually brings me to talk about, it's so cool. Well, our group is so cool on so many levels. One thing that is so cool is that because of the comfort that we've gotten into, and the comfort and the professionalism, and that's not to say that everything comes out perfect all the time, but we can do it, we're professional at it, and it does come across more often than not. But the thing is, I mean, as much as improvisation can come across, but the things that I hold of value, and I know you guys do too, are things like, by doing it, we show people these things that they're capable of too. They begin to agree with it just by watching and experiencing it. And one thing is that we each one of us has a particular gift or ability that rises up in the group, within the music making. And I think that's a super important lesson, for everybody, right?
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, it's a
That's super
cooperative
profound, Cathy.
effort.
That's true.
There's no, it's a democracy, really. There's no leader, except for little tiny momentary, someone steps out and sort of pulls directs the group improvisation into a certain direction. But, you know, it's, I think what you said, Cathy, is very apt. It's an agreement. We all sort of agree to go, yeah, let's go there. Or maybe somebody doesn't and they sort of stick to their guns and stay.
Well, we used to do that more. I was bad at that, right? But I conquered that.
Well, you were bad at what?
I remember one time Emil really got upset with me because I basically said no to his suggestion. Remember, Emil? You probably don't remember. I think girls remember that shit more. I'm a girl.
So,
What?
I mean, well, that's not something that's something that's happened several times. So I'm like, which time are you talking about? You said no to my suggestion. It's like, okay. I'm like, which time are you talking about?
Oh shit, man!
I didn't think it was a big deal. Yeah.
Well, that's good. There was one time that I thought, "Ooh, I really." Anyway, apparently you forgot that particular significance, so that's fine. I won't try and bring it up.
Well, but doesn't that happen in music all the time? It's like,
yes,
somebody will go in a certain direction, and the rest of the group is like, eh. And you're just like, okay. So, and you get back into whatever groove they were, and then something else develops, and then everybody goes in that direction or whatever. Yeah. So I don't remember taking offense at an idea not being accepted, because they're just out there, and if they catch fire, they catch fire. But if they don't, I don't feel like I'm being rebuked or
yeah, like I said, I think it's more of a girl thing. We
perception,
hold on,
yeah.
We hold on to stuff a lot longer, I think.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, of course, and especially in this group, I mean, that's happening all the time. Somebody gets an idea, somebody else gloms on, some other person goes, no. In fact, there are times that we go away from a gig, and one person thinks that it was great, and one person thinks that it was horrible.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened too much, but it has happened.
It has happened. And it's like, how are you perceiving this versus how are we perceiving this?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting.
But I think it's a really valuable lesson though, because you kind of, I think we've gotten really good at kind of checking our egos at the door. And we go in, and it's not personal if your idea doesn't, as Emil says, catch fire. You just listen for the next thing. It might be your idea, it might be Adrian's idea, and whatever it is, it might be Cathy's, it might be Tracy's, and we all generally agree and support it, even if we're doing something contrapuntal or polyrhythmic against that idea that's leading. But it's really not a battle of egos. It's not,
no.
Whose guitar solo is bigger, badasser, you know what I mean? It's not whose amp goes to 11. We just don't play that game.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because ego, when you talk about ego, people tend to think of it sort of in the positive sense, meaning like somebody with a big ego, or you think your ideas are great or whatever. But it can go the other way too, when you sort of shrink into yourself and you think everything is terrible. I mean, that's also ego, right? It's just like the inverse. And I mean, I remember like right when I first joined, I mean, it took a while. It took like a year for me to get comfortable with it, you know, and I would go really in and out. And we had that one gig at Bar Lubitsch that
Yeah.
I was in hell the whole time. I was literally on stage and there was just little
Really?
in my head,
Oh.
you suck, you suck. Oh, the whole
Wow.
time I was just like, you're terrible, you're terrible. And I remember Cecily had something that she just was blazing at. I think that was when you did, I don't remember, you did something super cool about traffic or
Oh,
something.
the parking meters and
Yeah, it was something. But I mean, I just came home and I was like, I'm the worst one. I'm so bad. It's so
Oh.
and then
Oh.
well, you know, it's funny because I mean, I come from the classical world, the classical instrumental world, and it's really different. And you know, but then I remember right after that, we had a rehearsal at your house, Cecily, and you guys were making me start a motor, and I was like, "Don't make me do a motor." But I remember exactly what happened. You guys put me in a chair. You were all behind me, like in a semicircle. I think you were touching me, and you just literally like that healing thing. You just like shot me all your energy, and then like all of a sudden I did like, and literally in a split second, the whole thing changed for me. And from then on, I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. And it's not even that I think everything I do is blazing or amazing. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that sucked, but I'm not attached to it anymore. It doesn't matter. And frankly, it's so liberating to show up for a gig with zero preparation. You're like, oh, this is awesome. Like, I'm less worried now. Because if you prepare something and it's not good, then you're like, oh crap, I should have practiced more. I should have done this, or I should have done that. This time it is what it is. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Move on, next. It's definitely, this has improved my musicianship more than anything I've ever done.
Yeah, me too.
Without question.
because I think each of us brings something. I mean, Emile and Ashley have this African thing, you know, the feelings of subdivision of rhythm that, I mean, I'd heard it for a lot of my life, but I'd never sung it. And so that was a huge learning curve for me. I used to have the suck monster on my shoulder about rhythm. You know, like I can sing a harmony to just about anything, but rhythmically, that was I felt was my weak spot. And it was so great. As you said, Adrienne, there's such a collective support system. And, you know, Tracy, our newest member, he's just got all these amazing ideas for teaching. He's a recent Berkeley grad, and you know, I don't know what it is. He's just very turned on about how to do exercises to improve certain, you know, rhythmic and harmonic and
I think it comes with the younger musicians especially in the jazz field, you know, the younger singing musicians, all of those guys that were, you know, Jacob Collier guys. And who's that guy who he does the looping, and he's really, really good. You know him. He sung at the Blue Whale a lot. His mother is a big studio singer. He's black. He's young.
Washington. With the big fro and
no, gosh, I forget his name. He's really super. You guys all know him. He's
not
really
Michael Mayo.
Yeah, Michael Mayo.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know him.
Oh, really? Oh, God, he's.
I will have to.
He's a great singer. Oh, geez. But these younger people who are coming up in
AYO.
Yes. Mm-hmm. They seem to be, you know, carrying this intrigue. It's like people getting involved with the computer over the last 20 years, you know. It's that kind of movement, you know. They're getting involved with scales and applying them and freedoms. And it's pretty interesting what's happening, you know. There'll always be a space for us old guys, though.
Yeah.
But it's interesting listening to all the of I don't do this, I'm weak here.
Yeah.
That sucked. I was upset of this. These are our perceptions. But no matter what our perceptions are, the audiences are always like, that was great. That was, wow, you guys took me on a journey. That's right. I've never gotten
Yeah, I've seen you
a
do better.
negative, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I've gotten constructive criticism, especially like way back in the day when we were first starting and we were trying to,
Yeah.
okay. But overall, the audience reaction sometimes is diametrically opposed to what we perceive the night as being. And they're always positive. And I'm like, well, always, most of the time, you know. Like, yeah. It's rare that we have like negative review. I've like hardly ever.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to share our audition for
Oh,
NPR.
this is a great one. This is a great one.
Hi, we're Fish to Birds. We're an a cappella vocal jazz improvisation group, and we make stuff up on the spot without rehearsal, so here it goes.
Oh, we are too much fun, man. Woo. Damn.
That's one of my favorite ones we ever did. I
Yeah.
love that. And the thing,
Yeah.
because that piece, that spontaneous piece, for me, like what really tickles my fancy is when we write something that's like an actual piece, like it has distinct sections.
Yeah.
Like we had an A section, then we had a B section, then we came back to the A section, then we had a C section, then we came. Well, we didn't have a C section, but you know what I mean. And and then, but
We had a weird bridge.
yes, and it's funny too. Like I can see Ashley. She would have a couple ideas that she was kind of nudging me toward, and I didn't pick up on it like the first time, and you can see in her face she's like, come on. But then I did.
I mean, it's hard not to watch that, and it's hard to watch that and not smile.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I should put that up on Facebook and social media because it's something that we all need to experience now. Of course, this week has made us smile again, but yeah, just so amazing. We just have had so much fun doing this. It's just great. I love us.
It's gonna happen again. It's just we have to be really careful and wait the right time so that we don't have more spikes and things like that. It's like even as bleak as it looks and as long as it looks like it really might be in reality, we will be getting back together. Like the 1918 pandemic thing, like it took 2 years. And it was a bitch.
Yeah.
But there was another side. So
Yeah.
I'm confident in that, but right now I'm hunkering down for the long term.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed for two things, basically. A vaccine.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Hurry
for
up.
someone to fix the latency issue. Because then I'm cool. I can stay home. As long as I can sing with my homies, I'm good. But I guess with a vaccine, we wouldn't have to stay home. But seriously, in the interim, can someone, I'm making a plea out here, all you tech heads, all you young, smart, computer
Or
savvy.
you mean like on Zoom?
Yes. Or any platform. I know there are ways to build tracks, but in terms of live singing, to lock
Live
in,
singing, yeah.
that is not.
Maggie is investigating something. In fact, in a couple of days, I'm going to be talking to her about it. So I'll find out.
Who is Maggie?
Maggie, yeah. Because for choral groups, it would be like amazing if people could sing 3-4 part harmonies and do rhythms and everything without a delay.
Yeah. Because right now it's fun, but you almost have to plug your ears to do it. It's kind of like, oh, yay, we're singing together. Oh, no, it sounds like shit. Oh, it's still fun.
Well, that's why you got to do it to or to some track or at least to something.
Yeah.
And then it gives everybody something to glom onto in their own little private boxes, right?
And not only latency though, but it's the same time too. Like if we all sing some notes together right now, when we can just try it, but some of us will fade out probably.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So let's just sing a few notes for a minute.
I'm hoarse, full disclosure.
Okay. I don't even hear Emil.
Everybody's cutting out.
Yeah.
All I hear is like wind.
Oh yeah, I hear that too.
Yeah,
So
it's like
that's-
wind, and then when one person sings, the other person cuts out, and I don't know what.
Yeah,
we're
it's the compression, it's the limiters kicking in.
Yeah.
Now,
Good.
every once in a while, if we are soft enough, we can hear multiple people. But it's like, it's this serious balance thing. And like what Cathy hears won't be necessarily what I hear. I might hear the three of us and not Cathy, but at the same time, Cathy's hearing herself with you guys and not me, right? And you guys are having your own variations.
Yeah.
But so it kind of works. There are different people, both in the choir community and in the all the way in community,
Excuse
that
me.
are
That's it.
working
Bless you.
on
Thank you.
doing vocal improv in time live with one another.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what all these. I mean, I've had some interesting experiences, but I haven't found something where I'm like, oh, that's the thing to do. You know,
Yeah.
I haven't had that.
Yeah.
So, but now there are these people are actively working on it apparently, because now there are 3 other things happening, and I'm gonna go talk to Maggie about the one. I'm gonna go to 2 others during the week. So we'll see. So far, there are too many issues. Like for example, everybody needs Ethernet for one thing
Yeah.
and specialized equipment. Well, not everybody can do that.
Well, and if you don't know what Ethernet is, Emil,
Right.
explain that.
Yeah. There's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
There's
No
another
Wi-Fi.
one. There's another one. Apparently, it works really well for instruments, but for some reason, it cuts out with vocals. Like it's like like you can't get a clear signal.
The wave, the sound wave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean,
I wonder if that has to do with the way vocal music travels, literally on your breath.
Right, maybe.
When you were singing just now, Emil, Adrian, I think you mentioned this too. All I heard from you, I didn't hear the pitch, I heard wind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's somehow
The distance from my mouth to the mic.
the tone was cut out,
Right.
but the
Was
wind
not.
was still there. Yeah.
Hey, just somebody said, Anthony said, try singing pianissimo. Let's just try that. See what happens.
Not gonna work.
But Emil, you don't have to get real close to the mic. Yeah, just from there. Yeah, I hear myself great.
I hear you, Kathy.
Yeah.
Who are you on, Adrian?
The only person I heard was Kathy.
Oh,
Oh,
And myself, obviously.
Oh,
well,
you
maybe because I have a mic plugged in too.
Well, yeah.
I don't know.
Let's try it again. Maybe in a higher register?
Okay, that's what I'm going to back away a little.
Okay.
Ay, 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 ay. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh
Going in and out.
la, ooh la la.
Well, who
You're
did
like
you
it
hear,
goes back and forth between people.
yeah.
Well, I think you'd have to equalize the equipment too, because
Yeah.
honestly, if I were in my outside studio with my recording mic and headphones, maybe it would sound,
Yeah.
better. But
Well, that's the key word, maybe. That doesn't say that will necessarily work over this platform, but because here the limitations are based on the platform,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, now, one thing that heard people doing over Zoom is call and response type thing,
Yeah.
or trading eighths, or
Right.
you have 4 or 5 people and everybody, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I
But
need harmony though. I need harmony.
but the together thing, that's been like,
But even if you're trading eights, it's not going to stay in time as it passes to the next person.
that is true.
There's going to be a fraction of a beat lost. And even if there's a track going, say from your place, and you're singing really to a very steady rhythmic track, I'm not going to hear it in the same place.
Right.
I think Roland wants us to move on. He wrote conclusion, it does not work.
I know. Okay, all right.
Okay. Thank you for the honesty. Yes. Okay.
Let's talk about the Red Cat show, where we were the hit of Red Cat 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, well, we were the only musical group too. We were the breath of fresh air, the 7 breaths of fresh air.
But also, it was so funny, because everything was so intense. But I think it could have been a contrast, but it's also what you were talking about before, Emil, with audience perception versus our perception. It was like we were a comedy group. I mean, and then of course, because you have 7 hams on stage, we're all they're laughing at us. Let's ramp it up. That was awesome. That was really, really amazing.
Yeah. Let's talk about it, and then I'll show it too. But
special appearance that night from our jazz chicken, did we not?
And because of the energy of people speaking and our interplay with the audience and all that stuff, when we did the music, it was like already up here, and because of our energy, it just kept ramping up, and the audience was feeding into it, and it was like one of those magical gigs that you're like, I wish they were all like that.
it was a great audience. That was the whole thing. The audience was so receptive.
That's the difference between a gig and a concert, because at a gig, if you're playing at a restaurant or a club and someone's, you're ordering food, or someone behind you spills a drink or whatever, that was a theater audience. And it's really a different vibe. They're just super focused.
Yeah. And then there were 2 nights, so we actually had the chance to experience that twice, which was pretty amazing. Yeah.
And in a different way, the second night, which was so cool, because it's like, okay, it could feel like this, or it could feel like that. Yeah. But it feels so good because it's built on this same foundation of energy that, and I thought, that is very cool. I could get used to this.
Can I just address one thing really quick? This is off topic, but Toby Simmons is concerned that we need to wear our masks. And Toby, this is why you are not seeing Fish to Birds in the clubs right now, because we cannot sing in public right now. We are here on Facebook to stay safe. So worry not. We are very aware of the health, and some of us have
health
issues to think about, compromised immunity. And so please don't worry. We are all avid mask wearers.
Avid.
I'm
going to share the Red Cat. How's that? Let's see. Where are we? Red Cat. Okay. Here it is.
I got the sun in the morning, Viva!
Everybody gonna have a little pain. When you feel that trouble, all you got to do, all you got to do is get up, get up, gotta get up, get on up, every life, gonna have a little trouble, get up, everybody, get up, feel some pain, feel that trouble, what you gotta do, get on up, get on up, get on up, I love fried chicken.
So much. Oh,
I love the and scene.
It's a wrap.
I mean, because to be honest, that was ridiculous. But we kind of embraced it. We just kind of went with the silliness, and they loved it. Like it was just that's the thing. It's if you're not there, like you, it's like one of those things that you kind of had to be there because just the vibe in the room, everybody's kind of doing it together. You know?
Yeah.
But,
That was just too much fun, man.
yeah,
It was.
And the surprising thing to me was afterwards, the number of people that came up to each one of us
Yeah.
and said, "Wow, so do you guys write your own material?" Or, you know, they
Oh yeah.
like clueless of the fact that it was all improvised. And when they found that out, they were just, what?
I can't even imagine that being written and practiced, really. I can't even imagine it.
yeah.
Yeah. That question always surprises me. Unless it's something real short and very succinct together, you know. Mark Baldrich is asking a question about audiences. Do you think the audiences at clubs now are different from the past? When I go to the concert now, I hear people talk where in the past people showed more respect. I think it depends on the concert.
I mean, now they're super quiet because there's no concert.
Yeah, now it's really quiet.
People are so, I don't even hear the glass clinking, the blender going, nothing.
Even
Pin
before we
drop.
stopped, it was different. It was different. I remember when I was in my 20s, 30s, and I'd go to a concert, you sat, and it was like this spectacle in front of you.
Yeah.
Then I went to see, okay, so because I've been singing, I had sung with people in Bobby's entourage and that kind of thing. I went to see his daughter. This concert experience was so different. One, you stood up and you packed the place as much as possible. And people came on with different instruments, but they didn't play full on songs. It was like these vibe riffs that would go on for a minute or two, and then they'd go into something else. And meanwhile, you're like expecting the main person with three people coming up first. So it's really different from the way it used to be. You used to have one opening act and then the main thing. Right now, it's very fluid.
Oh, I think there's plenty of stuff.
And unfortunately, this particular night, it went on for so long, we left before Bobby's daughter got on.
Oh, really?
Oh God.
No, yeah, it was like, oh no, I got to be up at 5 a.m. I did a special thing for this, and now I got to go.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm not as young as I used to be. So, you know, it has changed for me, audiences. And they expect a different thing. But that could also be generational. So
I don't know. When I think of audiences changing and or not, I think of the Blue Whale. Now, the beginning of the Blue Whale for a number of years had a door guy. Remember, Adrian? The door guy. Do you guys remember? He was a big guy, and
yeah,
and the bar, which was the Blue Whale is basically a big room, but the bar is kind of a separate room in the back, but it's still open. He would go around to people everywhere and anywhere and say, "There is no talking when the music is playing." Remember that? And then he left, and nobody wanted to step into his shoes. And so there was talking in the back, but certain musical nights there's not talking in the back, or there's not heavy talking in the back, and definitely not in the main listening part. I mean, people just won't stand for it there.
Yeah. Well, it's a listening room, though. It's a different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's a culture.
Really. What do you mean?
It's a culture.
Yeah.
The loudest thing I've experienced in that main room of the Blue Whale is somebody with a very loud camera. Who, can you not turn the sound effects of your shutter off? It's like someone, setting up a shotgun or something. It's terrifying.
Guys, carry on for a moment without me. I have to relieve myself.
I don't think
Cathy. Ain't nobody need to hear that.
And
What do they think I'm gonna do?
Make something up. Say you're gonna go bake some cookies or something.
no, that's what. Never mind. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
No,
Well-
I've told people to shut up before, for sure. I will be a bitch about that. If people are talking, man, oh no.
I didn't know that this guy was walking around. I mean, I remember him. I remember his presence, but I don't remember him telling people to shut up. Although I'm sure I probably saw it, but it never registered that that's what was happening. I always thought and felt that it was part of the culture. It's just respect. These people are coming out and they're showing you, they're pushing themselves for you, their audience. Now, yes, you pay to get in, you pay for a ticket, you got to buy drinks, whatever, but that keeps the whole thing going. And if it gives you pleasure, then the artists are going to push themselves as far as they can for you. That's how I felt. It was always like this gift from my core to the audience. Just, like that's why I'm here, and if we can have a great time, that's cool. And then these other guys on the stage, they're going to help me do that. Right? That was like my inner dialogue. So I understand when people get upset because they trivialize it. It's like it becomes background music, right?
Yeah.
You might as well have a canned thing. So if there are live people, focus.
Well, I think it's a matter of how familiar people are with that culture, because I think you're preaching to a choir.
Oh, yeah, the choir. Yeah, no, you're right.
I think he's directing a choir as well, but it depends on the kind of expectation someone has when they go out. I mean, I've had friends show up for a concert I was doing, and they talked, and I had another friend who would have to tell them, this is it's a concert. Number two, I think it has to do with how much alcohol is being served and whether or not people are eating along with the alcohol, if there is alcohol. Because, like Adrian said about the couple glasses of wine will loosen your tongue and you start, but I remember doing one of my first jazz gigs, and I have to admit I was kind of a jazz snob at the time. And it was a bar, it was on Shattuck Avenue in Berkeley. It was not a super highbrow place. It was not a listening audience. But I was expecting that, So there was a table of people right up by the bandstand. And so at some point, and they were so loud. They were just so loud. I could hear everybody's voices, even the people with their backs to the stage. So at some point I turned to the band and I said, fours. And when it would come around to my turn, I would just hold the mic out.
Oh, that's so cool. I like that.
It took them 3 rounds to realize that nobody was soloing when and I was holding the mic at their table because we might as well join in. I mean, if you're going to talk that loud, then you're literally sitting in with the band. So come on, give it up. Let's hear something. Let's hear what you got to say.
What was their eventual reaction?
What?
What was their eventual reaction?
Oh, complete embarrassment. And they just got up and moved to the back, and they sort of nodded their head like, sorry.
There's always something like that. I remember one gig I did. It was a casual, and I forget the guy's name. He was the leader. He was a wild guitar player, and he was the leader. He did a lot of work. And this gig was in Beverly Hills, an incredible wedding, and everybody was super happy, and they were dancing, and there was one guy who came in front of he was dancing with somebody, and he came in front of the band, and he went too loud. The whole party was going crazy wild the bride's father was writhing around on the floor. I mean, he had laid down on the floor. I mean, everybody was having a good time. And so what did the leader do? He said to the band, down. So the band got real soft, and he goes, what? It's too loud? And the guy was clueless. He said, yeah, it's too loud. It's like, you are friggin' clueless, man. It's like, so I think sometimes I just think people their realities do not engage, their surroundings, they're very independent in their universe.
Well, and at a gig like that, if it's not a listening room, if it's not set up as a concert, everyone has their own expectations. Some people are thinking, oh, I'm going to stop in this club, I'm going to have a couple drinks, I'm going to hang out with my friends, we're going to talk, it's after work, we're going to get back. And some people are there and they really want to listen. And as a performer, we sort of, I don't know that we expect that, but we certainly hope for it. I don't want to be the one to tell the audience to shut up, but I will get really, really quiet when the audience gets really loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always my way of dealing with it,
Yeah.
Aside from trading fours with the table in front. But,
Yeah.
Alberto used to do that. He would be performing in these rooms, and he's just playing his heart and singing his heart out, and people would start getting loud and talk, and he would just get quieter.
Right.
And I learned that as a teacher too. I taught for in the elementary schools doing music for symphonic jazz orchestra, and when the kids got rowdy, I
Right.
and they suddenly would go,
Yeah.
which is the desired effect.
Adrian, were you going to
I
say
thought you were going
something?
to say, Cathy, when the guy said to go like this, the whole band crouched down. I've done that too. It's like, come on, and everyone crouches down. Like this.
Adrian, were you going to say something?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, there's so many nightmare scenarios that people have experienced, but the good thing is they turn it to hilarious stories after. I remember I got hired to do this just as a singer with my, I don't even remember what it was for. It was some event, whatever, some seated dinner kind of thing. And I was just singing standards, and it was in some ballroom, and the audience was, let's say, on the elderly side. And so I'm literally singing, I'm at the mic, and I start singing Corcovado or something in Portuguese. And this lady at the table, right in front of me, I can see her little shoulder. She's like, oh, and then she gets up, she toddles across the floor. She comes right up in front of me. I'm singing, and she's like, oh, you speak Portuguese? I'm from Brazil. Oh my God, have you been to Brazil? She starts talking to me. And I'm like, nunca, I'm literally singing. I was like, yeah, not now, not later. And so sweet and super sweet, very well meaning. She was just excited, but I was like, wait for the bass solo. I'll talk over the bass solo. Fine, nobody cares about the bass solo. But,
Ooh.
I joke, I kid.
I know.
But anyway, but it is pretty funny. Like, that is hilarious. It's horrible when it's happening, but it's really funny afterward.
Hey, I wanna ask us each what we have, um, an idea or two that we have, kind of experimented with in Fish to Birds, that we know about, that we've experienced and experimented with. Like, for instance, something that I have is consistent lick or groove for a longer length of time. I've experimented with that. Like, how does that feel? Does it support the group? Do I have to change it often? That kind of thing. Because that's something that I always observed in instrumental groups that I loved. Like, for instance, Weather Report. There's this amazing groove lick that they do for a long length of time, and it kind of forces this kind of stretch and balance with the other musicians who are attached to it, and so that's something I've worked on with Fish to Birds. Yes, Emil.
One of the things I've worked on is, I don't know how to qualify that. Memory, maybe you could call it. Okay, so say Weather Report. You start off with some really cool groove, then you go off, and then you just have a great time, and then it's time to come back, but you don't know where to come back to. So you come back to something that's similar. That's not very kind to the people that are working with you. So, Mr. Birds, I have worked on, if I start something, whatever, that I will burn, like while I'm doing it and everybody's coming in, I will burn it into my brain so that when we depart and get all funky and fun and explore and solo and everything, when I come back to the one, it's exactly what started.
Yeah.
And I've done that out of a sense of sensitivity. It's out of sensitivity. It's just kindness. It's like, don't mess with the other people. And I mean, back in the day, I didn't realize I was messing with people, but it's like, give folks an anchor. Okay, just be kind. Give folks an anchor. So in Fish to Birds, I've really worked on remembering what I first lay out. We can play, but my job is to be able to come back to that.
Thank you for that, Emil.
There you go.
Because it's really hard to do, and I've focused on that too. When you go back to that foundation or that motor that you were doing, what was my part? I want to be able to lock in so that it feels like, as Adrian says, a composition that comes back and lands at a repeated A section or something. It is a return to something. It's not just another section and another section and another. But I think for me, I'd done a lot of vocal singing before this, but for many, many years I was a solo singer. Between the group singing experience I had and Fish to Birds. So what I have really worked on is listening as hard as I can to other people, because I know sometimes somebody will have a really great idea and it's just kind of floating, like a little Christmas ornament on the tree or whatever. It's just on its own, and it's really cool, but it doesn't relate to anything else. So I'll try to find that and make it a link in a chain. You know, find a part that blends with that or harmonizes, or you know, a contrapunct, or you know, an answer to their call. You know, call and response. I think it's taught me to listen with much bigger ears to the other voices in the group, you know. And with other choral singing, which was not improvised, you know, you just sing your part, and you think, you mostly listen for blend and volume and that kind of thing, like not being a soloistic voice. But in this group, I think it's important for us to each be an audible individual voice. That's part of what makes this group work. We really we each bring something different to the table. But I guess it's being a supportive player, you know? And occasionally I think, oh, I should, you know, maybe take a step out and do more daring things to, you know, that moment where someone steps up and says, okay, let's go left here. Let's change the section or whatever. But I think a lot about locking in and being a support player, singer.
What about you, long-haired?
Adrian.
I knew your name. Although I have forgotten my husband's name on occasion, but seriously, I knew your name.
That's when you know you're headed for trouble.
She's our AD.
That's right. 80 number one. That's my rapper.
80 do.
Yes.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, I think what I have experimented. The question is, what have we experimented with, right?
Well, yeah, like what is there one or two things that you have personally, you know, gained from or experimented with, you know, on purpose?
Well, you know, it's fun because, well, one thing that I've experimented with on purpose is because I always want to hear some sort of chord progression. I want harmony, not just harmonizing. I love harmonizing, but I also want to hear some fundamental chords moving around. We're not just sitting on like a pedal point, you know. And so sometimes, even though obviously I'm not a bass, I'll try to sing like a bass line, which, you know, I don't think it's quite as effective as when somebody that has, you know, that register, typically a guy, does it. But I think I think with varying degrees of success, I've done it, but I've tried to push it. Like if I hear some changes, I'll really try to sing, you know, and kind of like pull people into what I'm hearing, just because I think it would serve the piece, whatever we're creating in the moment. And I used to be scared to do that. I used to be like, oh, I hear it, but I'm not a bass. I can't do it. I'm not a guy. But then I was like, oh, well, why can't I do it? I'm gonna try it, or just try to insinuate it, or maybe sing some other pitches in the chord that move, that are maybe more in my range, that'll kind of pull people, you know, to that. And when it works for me, that is super satisfying.
Yeah.
And then also, I guess my go-to, it's hard because my go-to is definitely words, and that's just very easy for me, you know, whether it's like speaking or rapping or making up lyrics, you know, with a melody. But then sometimes, you know, I try to like not do that because it's such a go-to. And I don't want to necessarily be like, oh, there goes Adrian telling a story again, you know. So, but sometimes it works, and sometimes it just, you know, like I think if it fits and it serves the piece, you know. And then sometimes I think, you know, it's just I just have to be very careful. Like what did you call it, Cecily, the suck monster? You have to be very careful to keep that ego suck monster at bay, because if you're sort of like, oh wait, I didn't solo for a minute or what, like who cares? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Soloed or didn't solo. It's what we're doing collectively that matters, and more just the spontaneous creation of some sort of a piece, and does it serve the piece? And sometimes it will serve the piece if you solo. Sometimes it will not serve the piece if you solo. So I think the focus just always has to be on the piece and not the audience necessarily.
Yeah.
Just the piece, the music.
Yeah. When Emil got up and left, I was thinking, so this is to the audience. We have these different forms that we do. We call them different things, but one is 3 face front or 4 face front or whatever number we choose, 2 face front, and in which we, like if it was 3 face front, 3 of us would get up, face the front, not really look at each other. So visually it wouldn't be as engaging each other. And we just go. And it's really interesting because you can even start off totally different, like totally out, just yourself creating. And then what usually happens is that it somehow starts melting into each other and working off of each other, and usually comes to this conclusion that is amazingly perfect, right? The end. It's like, but it brought to mind that sometimes we've had, not only on gigs, but in these 3 face front kind of things, all guys or all girls. And it actually has a different kind of persona, doesn't it?
Of course. Of course.
Yes, it does.
Boy, they have been some amazing 3 face fronts. Oh my God. We have just the rest of us in the audience have just absolutely died laughing.
Yeah.
Is it?
You know what I think is cool too, because obviously with us, there's a lot of like inside, because we're like laughing sort of, with our friends that we see, doing something, so we sort of have this inside humor, but I feel like a lot of times the audience who won't know us as well, or often doesn't know us at all, will kind of get it too, or dial into it too, which I think is really neat. Like it does become very personal, for people, because I mean, what could literally be more naked than being like, okay, here we are on stage, sing, no instruments, no script, no nothing, and just go.
Yeah.
I think it is
No net.
I think it is inspirational for people to see it, and when people realize that that's what's going on, then I think people are like, whoa, because then they feel like part of the creation as well. And they are. I mean, they are part of it, actually. It wouldn't be happening without them.
Right. Red Cat is proof of that. Totally, right?
Exactly. There's no way we would have gone there if they hadn't responded the way they did.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
And so we sort of, it's funny too, because in the clip that you played, I can't remember who was singing it. Maybe it was Cecily. It almost seemed serious, but then they started laughing at something, who knows? But then we just went with it. We weren't like, oh no, this is serious, don't laugh. So that really affected it.
There's a few things I just want to read. Sandy Cummings, who's a jazz singer in Santa Barbara, had mentioned a bunch of cool observations, as she's wont to do, about audiences and, integrating the audience's noise just into her whole experience. And then Joyce Glasgow is talking about, just some people just don't know proper etiquette, and that's so true. I totally agree with that. And Joyce also, she offered a poem that she wrote that was inspired today, actually, by an improvisation played in a live stream by Dan Teffer. Oh, it's hard to say his name. He's really an excellent. Do you know him, Adrian?
Say his name again.
Dan Tepfer.
Okay.
It's an unusual name. And she said, since we have birds in our title, birds of freedom, fly away, bird of freedom, fly away to sing your freedom song, released from your chains, So soar, heart fluttering to anywhere you choose. Release your hopeful call, bring peace and joyful inspiration to all who hear your universal song. Cry out, sing the truth, sing the world, sing the aspirations of all beings in sweet and longing tones.
Oh, beautiful.
She's very
That
creative.
sign is particularly beautiful.
And Mark Baldrich asked a question which I think is really cool. As a group, how do you be creative while staying in balance with the other members of the group so the entire group benefits by sounding fresh? That's a good question.
Well,
Yes, Emil.
First thing I would say is, like, for me, well, obviously, we don't bring our egos in. Everything I do is in service to the song.
Yeah.
That's bottom line. That's the foundation. That's the rock. Everything else comes from that. But it's in service to the song. And when all of us do that, we end up loving each other. Like there's never any, it's like two contradictory ideas. We just love each other and it turns into something else. And I love that. So
That's so well said, Emil.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I think it is a very intimate experience. I think singing in this kind of group is like a musical trust fall. You have to put in your part of the foundation, but you also have to let yourself be rocked by other people's sense of what the foundation is. And we pass that trust fall around. When someone's soloing or something, we all listen and maybe we use dynamics to support them. But yeah, it's always in service to each other and to the music. And I think it's very intimate. I don't think you could. I don't know. I've had this experience with total strangers. I remember in Rhiannon's workshop, she would have us stand up and do things with other people.
Yeah.
And that I found curiously liberating in some ways and terrifying in others.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, great, I'm probably never going to see this person again. I don't know anything about them, so I can be whoever I want to be. But on the other side of it, we know each other pretty well now. And, I think Adrian said, when you're out there singing without instruments and no script, no written music, you're pretty naked, which implies you're vulnerable. And the trust, I think, is important to keep it fresh, because sometimes somebody's just going to come out of left field and do something that either you smile in recognition, it's like, oh yeah, the diva is going to do some incredibly complex rhythmic and then she's going to expect us to follow it, right? Or Mom is going to or Cathy will do something that's so out. I remember being in Three-Faced Fronts with you, Kath, where
I know.
Where am I? How do I get into this? Escape rooms. It's an escape room, but I can't get in. I find a way. Usually I stand there and laugh for a minute first, because I just but it's an incredibly personal acceptance of each other, and it's the old improvisational adage of yes and
yeah.
You really you can't go no.
No.
Well, you can, but it sort of stops everything. It's like slamming the brakes on.
It's so true. And Roland said something really interesting. He said, as an audience member, I've felt myself being somewhat intrusive at times when those special moments happen, those intimate moments. Isn't that interesting?
Sorry, Roland.
Thanks for saying that, Roland.
Hey, I'm going to play a three-face front because
Don't call it a threesome.
no, I'm not calling it
Not
a
that
We
intimate.
should call it a threesome. I like that better.
nah.
We might get more audience members if we call it a threesome.
Okay, here's a three. This is with Diana, but it's give people an idea of what can happen.
Go ahead, pneumonia.
Okay, this is three-faced front. And what we're actually doing is we cannot look at each other, and we're just going on a musical journey, and we don't know where we're going, and we have to just trust and believe that we'll get there. You got a good explanation? Okay.
Otherwise, we will all be tears. This is the evening? Yeah.
I can get
Yeah, man. Just so too cool.
That was
So much fun watching these, huh?
yeah.
What, Adrian?
No, I said that one was really mesmerizing. Actually, it was very cinematic. It was almost like underscore. That was a really good one.
Yeah.
That was really good. And Brad, man, Brad is so great. Like he's so subtle, like he's there, but he just super.
Yeah.
Because that was very understated. It was really
Yeah.
good, but understated at the same time.
He was like his glue in the background.
Yeah.
It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Mark Baldrich asked a question. He said, I am a composer. What do I need to think about or include in the music that would benefit a pure vocal group like yours? That's kind of a weird question. I mean, it's not weird, but it's a little difficult to answer because normally we create out of nothing. But on like my record, The Jazz Chamber, I did bring a song of Benny Maupin's called "A Message to Prez," and I thought this song. It's kind of a short song, and it has these very definitive licks in it that are groovy, and I thought it was a really good Fish to Birds kind of, bass. So we did our Fish to Birds thing. We had a little bit of direction from Bevan Manson because he had these arranger type of ideas, but we basically did our Fish to Birds thing. Then Bevan took what we did and he broke it up into 3 movements. Then he orchestrated it, and then we we had a tune and all of that kind of stuff, and then we had Benny Maupin actually play throughout the whole song. It's one of my favorite songs on the record. It's just
insane. It's so good. I mean, Bevan is a genius.
Oh, he is.
He is. I could not believe how that turned out. I was so honored to be a part of that. That was just incredible.
Yeah, that was absolutely amazing. It was long. It was long, and it was 3 movements. Really. Oh, what a cool expression.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys have anything to say about that? I mean, do you have any ideas, like as a composer, what would the composer need to think about or include in the music that would benefit a group like ours?
I think
for people to like improvise on top of, or I don't know quite what the question is.
Well, I'm not sure either, but I think like you said, if the composer composed a bed of harmonies that we could come in and create on over the top of, I mean that actually sounds like a good idea.
I think the key to that. Sorry, Adrian.
Sorry. No, I was just saying, or lots of space. That's all.
Yeah.
I think we were both trying to say the same thing at the same time. And we didn't give each other the space to say what we need is space.
Haven't sung in 9 months.
If you're composing for us, I mean, that's a tricky question because we don't ordinarily sing written parts. Even in the Benny Maupin tune, Message to Prez, we took those themes and we learned those 3 short themes, and then we took it where we, we swam and flew high with it, as it were. So if you're composing for us to come in and sing with a piece that you've written, you might, but I think that would be a really cool experiment, actually. And as Adrian said, areas where you might be exploring a theme, a musical theme, and it's whatever, orchestrated in a certain way, and then there's a bed that leaves it open for us to come in and work with that theme and maybe, transpose it in our improvisatory way. And then you might come back to either the same theme or a different theme, and then we could come in again or something. But for us to be singing with you, I mean, we've done that with individual instrumentalists, but they were also improvising. So they could listen to us and we could listen to them. It was very extemporaneous in that sense. For us to come in and sing over something written, I think there would have to be a specific space in there for us to do what we do.
But also, I think, just to reiterate what Cathy was saying about what Bevan did, just to be like hyper clear, he reverse engineered a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we were improvising together, and then he would hear the implied harmonies and then add instrumental parts on top of that. But that was based on the harmonies that we created, that half the time I didn't even, he might have heard a different harmony than I heard, but then he put that chord on top of what we were doing. So he basically, sometimes he heard the implied harmony, sometimes he reharmonized it, but it worked. But it was all based on what we did. So some was done before the fact, some was done after the fact. After we went in.
He orchestrated our improvisation. So that's the other way to go about it. You can compose over what we've sung, which is what Bevan did.
Yeah.
Or we can come in and sing over what you've composed, as long as there's an open enough space.
Cathy, can you reread the question?
Sure, and he is making comments that he's happy with what we're saying. But
Okay.
He said, I'm a composer, what do I need to think about or include in the music that would benefit a pure vocal group like yours?
Okay.
But he's happy with...
Yeah, I didn't know if improvisation was part, like his improvising with us being one of the voices singing or expressing was like a part of that, or whether it's how you guys interpreted it as something already done. That's all.
Yeah. We don't have a video for we ought to make a video for that song.
Can you play a little bit of the audio of it?
Yeah, I can.
It's so good. It's so good. I'm so proud of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I think it's amazing too. I think it's totally amazing.
And listening to our version of it stands alone, certainly. But if you've listened to one of the original recordings of the tune, it does kind of add a certain layer of understanding when you listen to this version.
Yeah.
Because we've kind of expounded on the themes.
Yes. I'm looking for it. Sorry.
Very fixated.
Okay. All right. So here is. That was not it. Here's Message to Prez.
That's my ophthalmologist calling.
I see.
Oh, hilarious. Dr. Hop. He's very good.
I don't remember this part.
Wow.
Bevan Manson, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Bevan
Bevan
Manson.
Stravinsky Manson.
I
Right.
know. Amazing.
It's so orchestral. I mean, I would love one day to see a dance choreographed to that. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, it would actually. That first instrumental section, the very first one, that sounds like Leonard Bernstein or something.
Yeah,
Like it's just, oh my God, it's so good.
yeah.
It's so good. And Dennis did such a good job producing. I mean,
That was a real kind of tribe project, you know. The fish to birds being fish to birds. Me picking that song, Bevan's genius in playing and pulling the musicians in, and Dan Davila paying for it, and actually, and Dan reminded me too when Bevan came. I mean, sorry, when Benny came to play. First, he was playing like kind of straight, like kind of matching the notes, and I was like, I was kind of like, what? Wait, no. And I said, Benny, no, not like that. And he said, well, he said, I mean, I could play really out, but I don't know if you want. I said, yeah, Yeah, that's it. And you're right. And oh gosh, the studio. And I remember mixing, and I'm so happy with the mix. You know how sometimes you mix stuff and later you go, oh, I wish I had done that differently. I don't do. I hear each one of you, each one of us, and the yummy parts, that brought out, yeah, it's just really. I'm so proud of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
I love how you can hear individual voices. I mean, obviously, you're mixed a little more forward.
Really? You think? I don't
Oh,
think
yeah,
so.
I think on some of the improv stuff, you were a couple notches.
Well, I think just because I liked my part, but each one of you, like Cecily, there was definitely one part of you that I remember. Ashley, Adrian, Emil. I remember
Yeah, no,
bringing
no, no.
people to the forward too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, it was amazing. It was such an honor to have Benny come in. And that was kind of impromptu, wasn't it? Didn't you run into him somewhere at his
No,
music head or something? And
no, that was always the plan to have him play on it. Yeah,
I can't believe you told Benny Malkin what to do.
I know.
His own tune, Cathy.
I know. Do you know how many times he's played that song? Because I've been downloading all my CDs in my spare time to an external hard drive, So I've been going, here, oh, la, la, la. Anyway, I had a whole bunch of live Benny Maupin performances too, and he always does that song. Not always, but I mean a big portion of the time.
Yeah.
a flagship composition.
Dan said this was the first track started on the project. It was? Oh. Oh yeah, and Brad Dutz was in there too.
Oh, yeah.
He was?
Yep.
He was in the room with us.
Yeah.
So Brad was improvising with us.
Yeah.
Radalicious.
Radalicious.
The Dutz man.
Well, guys, it's been 2 hours.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Oh, I miss you guys a lot. We do need to get together more.
We do to sing, or at least to trade fours or eights or something.
Something.
You should get those big plastic bubbles like the Flaming Lips had, and just put a mic in there, and then we could go.
And each one of us has a bubble.
We can go out to a field and roll around in our bubbles and have a rehearsal.
I would get so seasick, Adrian.
Or how about this?
I'll roll around with that.
Would you guys stand 25 feet apart from each other with a little mic and, like a little self amp, and okay, Adrian, I hear you. Okay, ba 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 ba.
We would have to go to the top of the mountain somewhere.
In a baseball field.
Yeah, I hate I mean I won't rub salt into the wounds, but Ashley and me and David Joyce and Mon got together. It was good. It was a few weeks ago, and we talked about everything, from politics to whatever, and then we had sings, and then we ate, and we had sings. It was really good.
And that's right.
You were all in different parts of the yard when you were doing this?
What'd you say?
Were you all in different parts of the yard while you were doing this?
I'm not going to say anything about that.
That's the right thing.
Well, I can just tell you I'm not ready for that yet. But if we can pull something together on a baseball diamond somewhere or a football field with some amps, I'm there.
How about a huge room where we can hear each other?
Inside.
Inside, yeah.
That is.
I can't.
We could all quarantine
those,
and get tested and then have a rehearsal.
unless it has those fans like in Sacramento, in my brother's home, because it gets so hot in Sacramento.
Oh, they have the air suck fans?
Yeah, and it just sucks the air out. And those things are amazing. you open up your front door, and it's like the heat from the pounding all day is like oppressive. And you flick these two switches, you close your door, and literally within 15 minutes, the house is cool.
Hmm.
And I mean, all the rooms in the house. I've been amazed. There's a name for this system, and everybody.
An exhaust fan. That's all it is.
Is that what it's called? Exhaust fan?
An exhaust fan. We put one into our garage.
Apparently, it's like.
It just sucks the air right out.
Sucks it right out.
Yeah.
So,
you can feel the wind. You
that
actually,
is loud.
Adrian, your hair would probably stand.
It's loud.
Hold me down. I'm going up.
On because we'd have to have it on, right?
They're incredibly loud.
They are incredibly loud. So even if we had on our masks and this thing on, we would probably be safe, but we
wouldn't be able to hear each other.
No. It's like being in a jet propulsion lab or something.
Yeah. It's not comfortable.
They are efficient. They are efficient. They suck that hot air right out. I'm like, wow.
I think we just need to be a little more patient, and those of you, and I say that because I'm not one of them yet, those of you who are ready for that, go
have at it.
Yeah. Yeah. With
all right. Well, okay, we'll do it. We'll get to it. In the meantime, I think I'm going to post a bunch of our videos because they're so much fun, right? And they're very uplifting, right?
Yeah. They all have me in them.
When's the last time we and when I say we, I mean someone out there because I'm not an administrator. We need to update the website so people.
Adrian.
Yeah,
did I say that?
Yeah, COVID happened.
No, we do.
Put out the feeders for bookings later.
Yeah,
anything out there, we're ready to go as soon as this pandemic is on its way out.
Well, we do have one or two. we do have one or two Facebooks, and we actually have an Instagram. You guys. Yes, we do. And as you can see, we're all very connected about that. And we have our website, fishtobirds.com. It's not so terrible. It's not super up to date, but it's, at least it has a few pages.
And link them to my website.
Say what?
I've got the Fish to Birds website linked to my website, but I don't have all the other Fish to Bird site like the Instagram and the Facebook. So I'll gather all those and link those as well.
Yeah. Okay. Love you all.
Love you.
Love you too. And big love also going out to Ashley and Mon and Tracy, wherever you may be. We love you. We miss you.
And Diana too.
And Diana too. Diana.
Diana Bradnoots, Bevan Manson.
Yep.
Yes. Is it Dreeth or Dreith? How do you pronounce his last name?
Dreeth.
Dreeth. Yeah, he's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
That was such a guy thing. Right? The guy goes first. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.
All right, I'm out of here. Bye.
Goodbye, ladies. It was really fun.
Bye. Bye.
And ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow I have on my show David Bassi, who is a jazz singer and a jazz DJ, longtime jazz DJ in Kansas City. And he's really cool. He knows a shitload of information about jazz. And he's a really good singer. And then the next day, Wednesday, Larry Livingston is on. And remember Larry Livingston, Cecily? He came to the place in Altadena to see us. Older man with kind of gray hair, and he fell in love with Ashley's singing.
Oh, yeah. Conductor.
Yeah, he's like a major conductor,
Yeah.
worldwide conductor. He was the dean of
Dean.
music at UCLA.
UCLA. He
Yeah.
used to work at Idlewild too in the summer program.
Yes, right. So he's on Wednesday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And this is just a little PR. Anybody on Instagram is seeing this, definitely. But I have a single coming out in 14 days. So today is the first building day to my new single coming out. Ooh.
Ooh. Are you still live, Kath?
I am.
Oh, because I'm trying to find the feed so I can sign off the meeting, but I can't find the feed.
Well, you have to go to Zoom.
No, I'm on Zoom.
Yes, you have to close out of Zoom. That's how you get out. That's not Zoom. But anyway, I'm going to end the meeting, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Yeah.